Hey guys, it's Alex from the Fabled Academy. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video about Flesh and Blood draft with Verdance, because I actually figured out for myself how I can draft Verdance in Rosetta, and I think Rosetta is just the best limited format that I have played yet in Flesh and Blood, and I didn't play any other drafts in any other games, so I'm really loving it. And I'm having birthday actually tomorrow, so I'm recording this the day before my birthday, and I will be also having a birthday draft. So not exactly on the day when my birthday is, but on Sunday this week. And so I just wanted to share with you, my strategy and kind of little tips that I found out about how to draft Verdance and how to go into Floran and Aggro Aurora too. I didn't really have that many problems with Auxilio, but I just wanted to share with you my main strategy and also what kind of cards I'm looking for. So let's just jump into it. But before that, actually, I forgot something. I wanted to shout out JBCraft, who's making these amazing dices here in Germany. So if you're from Europe or from Germany, definitely check out JBCraft Flesh and Blood dices, and he also makes metal tokens. And just wanted to get that out of the way because I'm always playing with these. He gifted these to me, but I'm not affiliated with him, so I'm not gaining anything if you are buying something from him, but just wanted to give this out of the way because I love these dices. And so now let's come to the Armory that I played yesterday with Verdance and Draft. I got this Arcane Seeds live cold foil promo, and I have to say these promos for Rosetta are just beautiful. These are the regular promos I showed in other videos too. And I went 2-1 actually, but the person that won the event, he already got the Armory promo this month, so I was the next one to get it. And I lost to Aggro Aurora. We played 3 rounds and I won easily against Auxilio. I also won with an edge on Floran. It was much easier than the last time that I played against Floran, and that just showed me that I learned something from my drafts and that the strategy is actually working out. And so I will also talk about some sideboard options that I made sure to get in the draft. But before that, let's show off some of the cards that I've drafted. Of course, Staff of Verdance shots in my Verdance draft deck is very important because I want to get as much value out of the AMP1 as possible when going for the arcane damage plan. And also, probably getting additional value if I get an embodiment of Earth, which is pretty neat with Verdance actually, because you have just so many auras that you can play with with this one, the harvest season. So that one gets this one gets +1 because it's not an attack action. And also all your wizards. Wizard actions basically are blocking for 4, most of them. And that is kind of crazy. And I think I should have utilized this a little bit more, but it was better than the last time, so I definitely would recommend going for the Staff. Amp, I never used the Sanctuary actually in this draft, but I did in other drafts, so it is kind of neat to have. And then the equipment that I got and I played with for Auxilio, for Floran, and also for Aurora, but I think this equipment was, could have made something better, let's say it like that. And just in general, I think this is pretty good equipment to get. Aurora only had one equipment, actually never used it, the Twinkle Toes, so she didn't really need an equipment to go off. And I think just in general, the Earth equipment is much, much better in Rosetta compared to the Lightning equipment. And then the deck that I played for going against Auxilio and nearly the exact same choices for Floran were 5 Decompose cards. I was really lucky in this draft to get 6 Decompose attacks 2 Cadaverous Tilling, which I only played 1 in my main deck, and then 4 Blossoming Decays, which are perfect when going for the arcane damage plan with Aurora, because yeah, you're basically dealing physical damage, gaining a life when you are online, and then also shooting an arcane. So I really love this card with Aurora, with Verdance, sorry. And Cadaverous Tilling is nice too, right? But I like the Blossoming Decay more. I also felt like 5 is just the perfect number to get a fast decompose, and not seeing that, yeah, many too often, because you can also use some to block when you need some earth cards, right? But yeah, overall I was pretty happy with that. Just in general, we were 7 players in the draft. Yeah, we had a nearly even split, 2 Florians, 2 Auroras, 2 Acilio, and then I was the only Verdance player. Then for my red cards here, I had 2 Fruits of the Forest. Love this card. Talked about it in my other draft videos too. I had a red Harvest Season. I nearly only blocked with this. Yeah, I played it once, I think, but yeah, never came up really for me. Then I had another Harvest Season in yellow and the Fruits of the Forest in yellow. They are just so good to also being able to pitch into the staff with another card and then getting the embodiment of Earth. Then I had a few Earth cards in blue, and I think these are, yeah, the centerpiece of your deck. I really think the Strength of 4 Seasons can be clutch in the end game, but mostly when I'm on the arcane damage plan, I don't really need this. Also, Earthform never came up, but I think I could have utilized it in Aurora, but I'm talking about that a little bit later. Autumn's Touch, just great. Also a 3-block. Fruits of the Forest, this is basically, I think, the best blue that I had here, because in the end I can pitch it in the beginning, get an embodiment of Earth, and later in the game when I'm online with Verdance, shoot an arcane and gaining 2 life. Just amazing, love it. Then I had the luck of getting a really good melt card. I think this one is pretty good, though I think the Runeblade melt cards are a little bit better, the ones that I've seen so far though. So Life and Pulsing Aether is basically when you're online with Verdance, 6 value, because you're gaining a life, shooting 1 arcane, and then dealing another 4 arcane. Love that card, and yeah, when I had it, I drew it. It was also very, very nice. Then I had 2 4 arcane damage cards, the Photon Splicing and the Aether Quickening. Aether Quickening is a little bit better, I think, when you are on the more aggro side with Verdance here, but Photon Splicing is nice too. Just in general, the cost 1 for arcane damage cards are so great, and yeah, I think these were really game changing. The Aether Quickening, I had a turn where, yeah, I was also where is it there? I also had an Exploding Aether, and so yeah, I can come in with the Exploding Aether, get an amp 1 from a hold focus, so I'm amping for 4. I play out the Aether Quickening, and so I'm coming in for 8 on that, and then afterwards I was also having a Trailblazing Aether, so I'm doing 11 arcane damage. That was against Floran, and yeah, even, I mean, he had life gain, 5 life gain off of the Vertical Ground, but yeah, I was doing arcane damage every turn, and it was basically a game then. So pretty much love these Go Again cards, the Trailblazing Aether and the Aether Quickening with the Exploding Aether. Then I also had a red Arcane Twinning, and I think those were the only 2 yeah, 0 for 3 arcane damage cards that I had. But I also got lucky in getting another yellow Aether Quickening. Also, I like you can pitch it, you can block with it, but also you can, yeah, do the same thing like I explained with the red Aether Quickening if you have Exploding Aether with it, and get off and go again. Trailblazing Aether 2, I killed Florian with this one. At first in the draft I was like, a yellow one, okay, I take it nonetheless, because it's a blue, it's a 3-block with yellow, but it actually killed Florian. And then I had another few blue cards, the Withered Actions, and like I said, these are all 4 blocks when you have yeah, your embodiment up. Also Photon Splicing and Arcane Twinning I think are a little bit more versatile here, because you can just discard them and get another amp off. It came up actually 2 times for me, and it was really good, came in clutch. And then my last 2 cards a yellow fertile ground. The red one is of course much better, but a yellow one is fine too if you get it and you can't pick anything else, because when you're online this is basically a defense reaction, so to say, because you're gaining 4. Also with arcane polarity, same thing here. If your opponent deals arcane damage to you, then you gain 4 life, also very good. And you can also use these, if you have them in the end, to go off offensively. And of course fertile ground is here much better than arcane polarity when you play it out on your turn, but I just love to get fertile ground up out when Verdance is online, playing this out on my turn. Gaining 4 life, shooting 1 arcane. I can even amp the arcane damage that goes off from Verdance effect, so just love it. Though this card is pretty bad when you're going against Aggro Aurora, but let's jump to the main strategy before going into the Floran matchup, because in general you saw the deck now. And I think in general, my main strategy is I want to amp with Verdance and deal arcane damage as much as possible. So you don't see a lot of physical damage cards that I want to play out, because even though I have 2 red Fruits of the Forests, I use them to pitch for the staff and get an embodiment of Earth. And in the end, then I discard these to gain 2 life and deal an arcane damage. But mainly my goal is to make my opponent overwhelmed by my arcane damage. That's why I value this 3 amp 2, the exploding Aether, but I don't want to go too heavily on these because they can brick. But I also think life gain is pretty crucial, that you have some, like I said, with these versatile cards like Fruits of the Forest, these cards like Fertile Ground that you can use on the defense and then on the offense. But I wouldn't go bang on Fertile Ground, for example, because too many of them are really bad. But I think having one in your deck is really good, especially when you can pitch it and get it later in the game when Verdance is online. So I'm going for a slow but steady game in my main strategy. But of course that doesn't work out every game. And especially not against Aggro Aurora. It works out against a slow Auxilio. It works out against a mid-range Auxilio. I'm not sure. I haven't really played that much against Auxilio. But basically, I think against Aurora, if she's on a heavy aggro plan, which I think most of the Auroras try to do, then you need to take another step towards it. But before coming to that, I just quickly wanted to talk about this one sideboard card that I played into Floran. I also made another draft video, if you haven't seen that, talking about why Saved Thought is good, because actually the last time I lost to Fatigue, and I could have picked this in the draft and could have saved me the game against Floran. So I really want to prepare for Fatigue when going into Floran. I also want to max out my arcane damage, so I don't really want to waste time doing physical damage, letting him block with cards and getting cards for his Decompose in the graveyard. I rather want to do like a 4 arcane damage turn, after 4 arcane damage turn if possible, and then maybe have a boom turn with the Aether Quickening, go again to Trailblazing Aether, for example. Or utilize also my Arcane Twinnings to discard them and amp up my Arcane damage from the life gain. That's possible too. And also I want to max out on life gain for the mid and late game. I don't want to use my life gain in the beginning and waste it just because I'm afraid of losing life, because with Verdance I usually go low in the beginning. I take some damage, or I use some cards to block and come in with, like I said, a 4 arcane damage turn and get some cards in to my graveyard to decompose. And that's something I want to utilize. Like I want to get my decompose off and make sure Verdance is online before I take my most heavily played life gain cards like Fertile Ground or Arcane Polarity. But even cards like the red Aura can be really good, and the Fruits of the Forest too. When you get them in the mid to late game when Verdance is online, you're gaining 2 life off of this, shooting 1 arcane. Though I think the yellow one is just it's not that amazing, but Fruits of the Forest always, but the Red Harvest Season 2, in the end, if you pitch it to the staff, get it in the end, play it out, gain 3 lives, shoot 1 arcane, it's crazy. I love it. And yeah, I really want to utilize my arsenal too. I think that is something that I wanted to point out for Floran too. I thought like for Aurora, I didn't really get that many opportunities to set up an arsenal. But for Floran, I think it's very crucial to have that 5 card turns or that 3 card turns when you're blocking with 2 cards. Just being able to, like I said, making sure you are holding your best cards until the end or preparing a big turn with Aether Quickening and Exploding Aether. And also make sure that these versatile cards are pitched and you are not wasting them. Okay, so now let's come to Aurora. And I think that was the first time I actually played against such a buffed Aurora. I think at this moment I don't need to talk about Save the Thought again, right? This is pretty clear why this is good into Fatigue. Also can reshuffle your Aether Quickenings for 4 and your 0 for 3 arcane damage. So now let's focus on Aurora, guys. So like I said, in draft it was my first time going against such a buffed Aurora, because usually in the draft pools where I played, there are a lot of Lightning players and then 2 to 3 Earth players. And so I saw a lot of mid-good Lightning decks so far, and this was the first time actually where I was like, okay, Aurora is doing like 14 damage every turn, and then even coming in with the 21 damage turn on one of her turns, and I just couldn't do anything, and so I lost. I lost instantly, so to say, even though I got him down to 8 life and could have killed him. With my arcane damage next turn, but I just couldn't block out his damage. And so we talked about it and we played another game and I tried different strategies with the cards I drafted in this draft pool. And so I just want to show you what I think are the best options in the draft pool that I drafted to take into, and what cards also to take out, because I think it is possible to win with Verdance against that heavy aggro plan on Aurora, but it's pretty difficult. I think Aurora will most of the time be able to kill you, but there is a chance, and I want to talk about that chance, because I think you need to switch up your game plan from the main strategy that I talked about in the beginning of the video quite heavily. And so you don't want to focus as heavily on arcane damage as for Floran and Auxilio, but rather do like these pretty consistent turns where you're playing out a red Fruits of the Forest, for example. So these 3 for 7, 3 for 6 physical damage turns, and pressure Aurora into blocking, because for sure she can 2 turns say, okay, no blocks to this Fruits of the Forest in red or other cards that deal 7 physical damage, but then in the third turn she needs to block. It's pretty crucial, because otherwise she's dying, right? And there aren't really that many good equipment choices for Lightning. There's this one block, a Helm, there's this Twinkle Toes where you need to waste an instant. But it is possible for sure. But I think that is the way you need to pressure Aurora into going into defense after having maybe 2 or 3 pretty aggro turns, and just hope that you draw the best block hands for those turns to block out 12 damage and survive basically until it is a little bit more even in the game. And so it will be a slow game for you to kill her, but it will be steady if you get enough of these 3 for 7. And I think you can look for those in the draft, and also make sure, like I said, when looking at these options that I put into the deck, make sure you have as many 3 blocks in the deck as possible. So I would definitely take these 2, put them in, and then just bluntly take the Fertile Ground and take the Arcane Polarity out, because Aurora also, I had the experience that she's not really dealing that much consistent arcane damage compared to Floran, so this can be a dead card in your hand, and so I'd rather have like a 3 block instead of a 1 gain life. And also with an embodiment of Earth, this is still a 4 block. So definitely take out the Arcane Polarity, and then also to Fertile Ground. Like I said, when you are not online with Verdance, this card is very bad. And yeah, most of the time I think with Verdance against the Aggro Aurora, you will not be online in the beginning. And when this gets into one of your 3 or 4 turns into your hand, then you can be dead just by having this card in your hand. So I think, yeah, putting in the 3 blocks is very important, and then also maximizing on those attacks. Like I said, I had another Cadaverous Tilling that I didn't play into Auxilio or Floran, but I think this is very nice against Aurora when you can get the Decompose off. So I definitely would get this one in. And then, for example, like I said, when you're not on the heavy Arcane damage strategy, take out the Exploding Aether for that, because you will not most likely get those 5-card hands or those arsenals to set up an Exploding Aether turn. And then also I would take in an additional Harvest Season that I had from the draft, and yeah, take out actually one of my other Decompose cards, one of the Blossoming Decays, because like I said, when this goes off and you don't get to Decompose at all, it's a 2 for 4, which is pretty worse compared to Cadaverous Tilling. But also in addition, I just think, comparing Harvest Season here to Cadaverous Tilling, it is a little bit more versatile to have the Harvest Season in your deck and maybe being able to pitch that for the late game. But I'm not really 100% sure on this. But I thought, when I consider the embodiment of Earth, I value the Harvest Season a little bit more. And so, as I said, when going into a more mid-rangey defensive style Verdance deck, then I would just take out the Blossoming Decay and value the 3 block potentially on this one a little bit more. And then also something that I noticed was, yeah, like I said, the Decompose plan will not always work into Aggro Aurora. So Well Grounded, in my case, will be dead. I didn't get to use it in the 2 games that we played. Also, Hold Focus, of course, the Amp one, having that all the time is nice. But I had a 4-finger gloves, and I think going on a defensive plan, I should have definitely, yeah, put 4-fingers glove in and side Hold Focus out. So, yeah, my equipment would look like this. I would potentially have a 2 prevent for the late game, but it maybe doesn't come up, and then these ones can definitely come in. So I have 2 prevention effects here that I can use and keep myself alive a little bit more, and that can just be an edge. Just as one prevention, one more. This just could be the edge that you need. Also, like Florian, I killed him on 2 live, and he just forgot to, he had the helm, the Lignum Vitae helm that blocks for 2 or for 1, and he didn't cash that in, and so I didn't give him, at the right time, so to say, but I just did Arcane damage afterwards, and so he couldn't really use his helm. But for me, the helm against Aurora would have been perfect, but I didn't get to draft it. So usually I like Well Grounded more, but in this particular matchup, Well Grounded is worse compared to the Helm of Lignum Vitae. All right. I think that also shows like this beauty of draft, where you just need to make the best out of all the shitty cards that you get, right? Because you're not always getting the best cards. You cannot prepare for everything. I also got these 3 cards that I didn't really want to use. I couldn't use these at all, and I don't want to play this. But yeah, I think overall it's an amazing and exciting experience drafting, because like I said, you need to make the best out of the worst that you get. And I'm also very interested in your opinion on draft. Also, I think it is very important to talk about this, because draft can be really exhausting, and it's my favorite format in Flesh and Blood, but I know much more people like Classic Constructed, even Living Legend, I think, is also rising in popularity. So I would be just interested in your experiences in draft. Also, if you want to see more draft videos, I have other draft videos on my channel, but I also want to make some Patreon exclusive videos about draft. So if you're interested in that, and also if you're interested in supporting the Fabled Academy, definitely check out my Patreon for that. Would really appreciate it. And just in general, thank you so much for tuning in this video, viewing it for that long. And if you haven't already, give it a like, because that would really make me smile. And also check out one of the other videos. So we see us in the next video, guys. Ciao.